actually works, and the Twitch and the stream and the thing with the Glaven and the look. It's, hey, I see myself, and we have audio. Excellent. All right, Dementia Radio now, and recording in 3, 2, 1.
Recorded live on DementiaRadio.org, it's the Funny Music Podcast, brought to you by FuMP.com, where you can download new free comedy songs twice a week. Now, here's your hosts, Devo Spice and the great Luke Ski.
Hey, Devo Spice!
Hey, Luke Ski!
Look, it's Ian! He's right there, Ian!
Oh my gosh, it's me! Why am I here?
Why are any of us here? I ask myself that every day. Or at least every Thursday.
Philosophical up in this bitch. All right.
Yeah. Welcome to episode 723 of the Funny Music Podcast. The title of this week's episode is Nonchalant Hunt. For no reason whatsoever.
That's a tricky one.
Yeah.
That could get dangerous quickly.
I'll give you the da 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 even if you get it wrong. So.
Sure, why not?
All right, we will have a pre-recorded interview with Viabella later in the show.
Viabella for my bunghole.
Sure.
But by the way, Rand says he feels bad pre-recording so often because he doesn't get to talk to Luke, so he says hi, Luke.
Hi, Rand.
All right, let's do the catch-up thing.
Let's get caught up with what Devo and Luke have been up to since last week. Or else Devo, if Luke bailed and didn't show up.
Hey, what?
Oh, he's right.
So, Luke, what you been up to?
Things.
Very nondescript.
Well, let's see. I went and gave people blood so they could look at it through microscopes. And they basically said, hey, eat less carbs, eat less fat, be more exercise. Okay, so thank you.
They needed to look at your blood to tell you that?
Specifically about the carbs and fat. Everything else was fine. And I'm guessing exercise more is something they just tell everyone as a boilerplate.
Yeah, probably.
And then I went and saw a movie called Spy Family Code White. So, you can hear all about my opinion on that on the next Tunes podcast. Oh, I also went and saw Kung Fu... I keep saying it wrong. Kung Fu Panda 4.
Kung Fu Fanda.
I keep saying that on the Tunes podcast.
I got a dig, old Bick. That's a new NSP song.
Nice.
Ian knows this because Ian has wiretaps.
Yeah, no, it's on their new album. It's on These Nuts that came out a couple of weeks ago. But hey, speaking of Spy Family, I watched the first episode.
Yay! Yeah.
Because Luke was telling me when I was in LA to watch Spy Family, so I watched the first episode. I tried to watch the sub, but it wouldn't play. So I tried to watch the dub, but it wouldn't play. So I watched the subtitle version. So
okay, yeah, it's like I'm generally, like this, the whole sub versus dub thing. It's like, I typically more often like to watch dubbed versions because it lets me focus on like the artwork and everything. But there's only been one anime of recent years that I came across where I actually prefer the subtitled version because it's the new version of Yurusei Yatsura. Like the English voice they have for Lum, I just think is completely wrong for the character, and it was just bothering me too much. And I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna watch this in Japanese from now on, so I can really get the full comedic impact. But anyway, yeah, I'm glad that you've begun to stick your toes into the world that is Spy Family. Also, Kyle surprised me on this. with the most recent episode. The most recent episode you can listen to right now is when Ian was out visiting. He had Ian record a new intro or two or something.
Yeah.
So there's new intro content.
Yeah, because he was like, we haven't updated the intro since we started the podcast, and I went, no, that's not true. I did record a second intro about 7 years ago, but I recorded one. So he's like, okay, so he had me record another new intro and outro.
Yeah.
That he wrote that I just recorded at his house since I was staying at Casa de Carroza when I was out in LA.
Yes. Anyway, the overall point is that you can hear my full review, non-spoilery review of Spy Family Code White on the Next Tunes podcast, posting this Sunday. Kyle and Lindsay came over to my apartment to use this very equipment to be live on Steve Goody and Brad Tassel's virtual comedy show on Monday.
Oh, cool.
And the interesting thing about that was in order for the setup to work for them to hear their music and perform it in time and have it come across correctly on the podcast, I have to use a headphone splitter so the two of them both have headphones on so they can hear their music and sing along with it in time. But that meant I was on my couch unable to hear their music and only hearing them singing. So I got to hear the a cappella versions of Small Neanderthal and I forgot what the other song they did was. But it was it's interesting being like, ooh, I get a private a cappella concert from the two of them for two songs.
You get an entirely different show than the show that everybody watched on Steve Goody's live stream.
Yes. And then today I went out and did a caricature gig, which I seem to only do a couple of each year. This one was out in Bakersfield, which is good 90-minute to 2-hour drive up north, which, depending on traffic. And the weird thing about this one was it was for a company picnic, which was happening at a park in Bakersfield from 10:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. on a Thursday. And I don't know why that was the way they decided to do things. It's, in April. I guess in this part of the country, doing it in late April is okay, but it's like, it just felt like, why is this happening now? There are barely any children at this thing because school is happening.
Well, the Hare Krishnas had it on Friday, and then the weekend, both Saturday and Sunday, the LARPers had it. So this was the only day you could get.
and then the Illinois Nazis,
yes,
who came all the way out to California for some reason.
Yes, for whatever reason, the Illinois Nazis are in California in Bakersfield.
They were toward chasing the Westboro Baptist Church. Apparently,
they had it from 1:30 on Thursday, so you had to be out at a certain time.
So I just got back from that. So and
boy, are my arms tired.
Yes, and literally, as I do drawings.
Careful with the hand movements there. You don't let them be on an unnecessary hunt.
Yeah.
No, wait, that was wrong.
I was testing you. I was testing
damn it.
you. You said you'd play it even if I got it wrong.
I wasn't expecting you to get that word wrong. I was expecting you to get the other word wrong.
I subvert expectations because comedy.
Anyway.
So, that's what I've been up to in the past week. What have you been up to, sir?
Well, I've had a headache for 3 days, so that's fun. Last weekend, I went to Connecticut to visit my parents, help them get their beach house opened up and dig a whole bunch of sand out from under the cottage. And everything was fine. The weekend went fine, except at some point while I was there that weekend, I caught a cold. And I've been fighting it all week, and I just, the head, the sinus pressure, I can't get it to go away. So I'm a little better now, but still, I can feel it coming back. It's right there. So I've been working on getting ready for RavenCon, and which is this weekend in Virginia. I have 2 concerts, and they're going to be They're going to be showing my short film. I'm trying frantically to finish up my covers album cover up so that I have CDs with me this weekend at RavenCon, and I should be able to after the show tonight. I think I got everything done I need to do except actually burning the CDs. So after we're done here tonight, I'm going to go burn some CDs, and then I should be good. Tuesday night, I had an agent workshop with my acting teacher, and
Nice.
usually with these things, like, because like I'm actively looking for an agent, and like I try not to get my hopes up with these things because I know it's kind of a long shot, but it went so well. Like she loved my scene. We were talking afterwards, about what I wanted to do and stuff, and we hit it off. There was a good rapport there, and then we finished up the the webinar, and I was like, oh, this I got a shot here, and nothing. Haven't heard anything. So,
Dude, I not to keep jumping in on each of yours, talking of whatever you went over through the last week, but the exact same thing happened to me. I had a self-tape audition for a commercial. I sent it to them. They gave me a call back. They said they loved my self-tape. They seemed to love me in the callback over Zoom. The audition seemed to go well, and I've heard nothing.
yeah, I saw your post about that. I was like,
It's hard to not get your hopes up when things go so well
Yeah.
in the callback. And I've been doing this for almost 40 years, and you still want to try to not get your hopes up, but this one would have been really cool to do, would have been really fun. They seem to really dig me, and the fitting would be this coming Tuesday, and I haven't heard, so I don't think I'm going to hear, and that it's hard to not get bummed about that.
yeah, it sucks.
But I have 2 other auditions that just came through from 2 different agencies. The one that I do just voice for, and then the one I do acting for, has got a print audition that's just come through. So
Cool.
I'm going to do those and see what happens with those. Also, the agency that I'm with, Dream Team Talent, just opened a location in New York.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they literally just opened their New York agency. I would recommend trying for Dream Team Talent in New York.
Okay, hang on. I'm gonna write that shit down. Okay, I may hit you up for contact info later.
Oh, of course.
So that's what I've been up to mostly. Big shout out to That Lucky Panda TV, who subscribed to our Twitch channel.
That's my buddy Lucas.
Yes, that's Lucas.
Lucas and I did a song not too long ago. We did a song for Game Grumps that I performed at MarsCon. He also did the backing tracks for me for my cover of Wolves of Glendale's The Gym, and did a cover of Cool Patrol by Ninja Sex Party. So, a friend of mine, thanks for subscribing, Lucas.
Thank you. Yeah, and he apologized to Luke because he subscribed while Luke was talking, and I have the alerts set up that shows some fancy animated graphic on the screen, and it was just a star covering Luke's face for about 30 seconds. So, what are you going to do? I haven't figured out this. I haven't mastered this whole Twitch thing yet. Anyway.
Hey, we've only been broadcasting on it for 4 years.
I know,
fine.
right? So, Ian, what have you been up to?
Well, other than the audition, it's been mostly trying to work and trying to keep sane, which is weird for a guy named Insane Ian. I recently put the reactions on my YouTube channel on a brief hiatus because I've been getting a little burnt out on doing reactions. I'm still doing videos for my channel, although I don't think I did one this week. But I was getting a little burnt out doing reactions, so I'm kind of taking a month-long break on doing specifically reactions. I'm still trying to do some music videos. I'm still trying to do some other videos, possibly more reviews and stuff. But as a way for both me and Sarah to kind of recharge, last weekend we went up to Galena, Illinois for a little 3-day vacation. Went up Friday, came back Sunday, just to kind of like reset and recharge. She's getting extremely burnt out at work, and honestly, actually, Right now, she is currently still working because something happened with some sort of system, and she's trying desperately to unfuck it. So she is dealing with a lot of that. So she's currently working. But we had a good weekend out there. It's kind of a historic town, very like it's got the downtown is very narrow but touristy. Lots of shops, lots of restaurants. It is the town where Ulysses S. Grant was born, so the Grant House is right there. But we didn't bother with that. We just went to Grant Park, which is right there off of the water and everything, and just hung out, stayed at the Italian Irish cottage in there, which has an Irish pub attached to it. Lots of great food, had a really good weekend. So just kind of recharged the batteries, as it were, because both of us were feeling kind of burnt out in our subsequent areas of work, as it were.
Understandable. So, you posted a song.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Give us a quick...
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just say, give us a quick intro. We'll give it a listen.
Sure. I see these on almost every car when I drive around, which I drive around a lot because that's my job, is driving around. And I don't believe them. They're lying.
All right, here is Drive Me Mad by Insane Ian.
I see you coming in my rearview mirror. My heart starts pounding as you're getting nearer. But as you pass me, I don't need to wonder, 'cause I can see what's printed on your bumper. Are you really a student driver, or is that sticker lying to me? Did you think we'd be none the wiser to your excuse to drive shitty? You change lanes without a signal. You get flipped off, but you just wave and giggle. Are you a jerk, or maybe just blind? 'Cause ain't no way you missed that stop sign. Are you really a student driver? I see so many in my city. It drives me mad, but I deciphered. Then you just use it to drive shitty.
Nice and short.
Yeah, that's another one of the songs I'm doing for my short songs project. I'm very seriously considering doing a Kickstarter or an Indiegogo to help fund this album idea. I haven't set it up yet, but it is something with each subsequent song that I do, I'm like, I can do a lot of these. And I think the opportunity to do a lot of these necessitates an album of these. I already have the album title. I had the album title for a while. I would call them Bite Size or Fun Size. I'm trying to decide between the two.
Okay.
But with that, of course, there would be a USB drive that is shaped like a candy bar.
Of course.
That has all the songs on it. So having a Kickstarter and Indiegogo for that is kind of the big idea ultimately with these songs. But mostly they're just because I kind of want to stretch myself as a songwriter to see if I can pack enough comedy into a minute long or under length song, because I see so many songs like that on TikTok, on Instagram Reels, on various and sundry thing on Facebook Reels and whatnot. So it's kind of a thing to try to push myself. YouTube Shorts does it too. Jazz Emu just put out 2 of these that are a minute long, and they're amazing. And I'm like, I'm gonna try to see if I can't capture that same kind of magic with this kind of stuff that I do. And of course, with the Indiegogo, I would have a tier where people can suggest songs for me to do. That you pay a certain amount and you get a song, kind of like what Logan Whitehurst did for his short songs project. But ultimately, this is a song that I've had in my mind for a while, because I do see so many cars with student driver bumper stickers on them that are just all over the goddamn road. And when I pull up next to them, they are clearly not students. These are people who have been driving. Like, you see this sticker on the back of a minivan, and you're like, maybe it's a family car.
Yeah.
No, that's the mother driving like an asshole. And you see it on the back of a Lambo, and you're like, really? I think you're just using this as an excuse now. And like I'm like, occasionally I try taking a picture of it, like seeing them be an asshole, and it's got student driver on it, and I might have a video for that at some point, but I don't have enough photos yet.
Do you have a dash cam? Because you could just drive around and.
I need to get a dash cam, considering what I do. I really should have one, but
Yeah.
I don't have one yet.
Highly recommend one.
Yeah, no, definitely. There's this thing in Chicago where stop signs are merely a suggestion, and the only time you stop is when you're about to make a turn, but off of a main highway into a parking lot. That's the only time when you stop before turning, apparently. There's no stop sign. You're just turning into a McDonald's off the road, but you have to come to a full stop before turning. Fuck you. I hate that shit. So, but these people are like blasting through stop signs in neighborhoods and parking lots, and then looking at me weirdly because I stopped. No, I'm tired of that. I've already written a song about rules of the road, and this is kind of like an extension of that because I'm always in the car. But with this one, this is another song where I just used some loops from Magic's Music Maker for the backing track. And
okay. I was going to ask you about that.
Some of the backing vocals were actually also part of like the loop program. I had like some choral ahs in the background. And when I recorded it, I sent it off to Kyle for him to mix and master for me. And he's like, this is great, except you go a little flat and sharp in some of the places. You don't quite hold the key. So do you want me to do a guide vocal and send that to you, and then you can match that for the second time you record it? You almost had it, but one or two places it went a little off. And I'm like, yeah, if you want to do that, that'd be great. So I have a version of this song with Kyle singing it. That is like, Kyle doesn't swear in his songs.
Right, yeah, I was just thinking that. You have recording of Kyle saying shitty.
Like, yeah, exactly. And I don't think shitty is that much of a swear. You can say shit on TV now, but you marked this song as explicit. I didn't change it to explicit.
Yeah, no, I did.
I know you changed it to explicit on the FuMP. But on my Patreon, for my $5 and higher subscribers, Kyle allowed me to include that as a bonus. So Kyle's version of it, with him singing the vocals, is available on patreon.com/insaneian.
Nice. Cool. So the short songs thing, was this something you wanted to do for TikTok initially?
Initially, yeah. And
are you still doing TikTok, that?
What's that?
Are you still doing that?
I am. And that's like part of the reason I'm taking a break from doing reactions is so that I can have time to film these for TikTok. Because I really only have time sometimes with my work schedule to film one video a week. And that video has typically been a reaction, which depending on how many songs I'm doing in the reaction or what song I'm reacting to, can take up to between 15 minutes to an hour just to film. Because shut up, Ian is a thing, and I talk too goddamn much. So like there are a lot of songs, like a Stupendium song. Stupendium just put out 2 songs about a month ago for hitting 1 million subscribers. They remade their song Amateur Wordsmith, and then they did an update, a sequel to it called Adequate Wordsmith. And both of those videos, my reactions to both of those videos are 50 minutes long.
Nice.
Because I have so much to say about each of these songs. And it wears you out after a while, after doing a reaction for that long. And I'd like to get some music videos done. I still want to do a music video for each song that's on Illinois, plus these short songs I want to do YouTube shorts and TikToks for. Yes, I know TikTok is now technically banned, but they have 6 months to either sell or take this idea to court.
They'll figure it out, I'm sure.
Latter. They're probably going to do the latter, from what I understand. I mean, the Republicans in the Senate just said the quiet part loud about how the only reason they're banning TikTok is because people are getting their information about Gaza and Hamas from this. from TikTok. So, they want to curb that and clearly say how it's not a genocide or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, hey, ceasefire now. Anyway, let's. I'm still going to be making those short videos. It's just I need the time to film them, and now with the break, I'm going to have that time.
So is the video for this one going to be just you driving around? Because you could just set up your camera.
I could absolutely do it that way. I'm toying with the idea of some of these being puppet videos, since I have the Insane Ian puppet that Luke made.
Ooh.
And
Yes.
since the shortest song and the second shortest song are very clearly puppet videos that Luke shot himself ages ago that I put on TikTok a while ago, they might be puppet videos, or at least one or two maybe puppet videos. I might switch back and forth. Some of the short songs that I did as Kickstarter backer songs on Smarmproof Lobster Cabinet, I've made 1-minute versions of those songs, and might be filming those with this as well. But ultimately, I want to get an album out of these, want to get these songs out on the various socials and see how they do, see what happens with them. This song actually that I did this week was not the song I was intending on doing this week. There's another song that I've been trying to work on for a while, and because I'm using loops and not working with an actual producer as far as music goes, getting the music done for that song has been a pain in the ass. So that particular song that I've been trying to work on, I won't say much about it. I will say it's a country song. I might end up working with Ben or another producer to try to get that song done, because I have a very specific idea in my head, a specific melody, and trying to get loops that work with that has been a little difficult. So I had to keep pushing that one back. I've pushed that one back like 3 times now as far as songs that I've wanted to release on the FuMP. Like, it was going to be that one song, and then I had the idea for Bidet, and because I did Bidet for the FuMP documentary, I was like, let me push that one out. And so lots of different things that I'm working on and all sorts of fun ideas. But yes.
Cool. All right, so when are you hoping to have this short songs album done?
It's hard to say because I don't know how many songs in the album will be. I
can fit 80 of them.
Written.
You can fit 80 of them on a CD, roughly. So.
Technically, yeah. But, if I want to be really good about, like, are we going to fill an 80-minute album, an 80-minute CD with these? Are we just going to make even more and just have it only be on the USB? I'm not sure. I have about 14 ideas written down on a list as far as, like, things that I have ideas for songs for. And since I do want to do a crowdfunding thing for the album and have people possibly pledge to have songs of their ideas done, that can expand that. So I don't know how many that's going to be, but depending on me to put the music and stuff together, maybe by the end of this year, might be early next year. Ideally, if I do the Indiegogo now, which would be like mid-May, I'd like to have the album done by October for FuMPFest. If that doesn't happen, next year for MarsCon.
Okay.
Those are the ideal goals.
Yeah.
We'll see if we can get there.
Yeah, I know how reality tends to rear its ugly head when
absolutely
when things like this.
I have used that exact phrase many times myself.
All right, so do you have anything you'd like to plug?
Of course, I have my YouTube channel, youtube.com/insaneian. I just hit 26,000 subscribers. Thank you. And I used to do a reaction every week on Fridays. I'm taking a month-long break, but I'm still releasing. We're going to be releasing a couple of shorts, a couple of music videos, maybe a couple of reviews of new comedy albums that have come out recently. And that is all going to over at youtube.com/insaneian. If you want to see any of those early, you can check out my Patreon at patreon.com/insaneian, where you can get all of those videos and my music early. The songs that I just posted, you could get that early on my Patreon. You can get exclusive versions of songs, like the version of this song, but with Kyle's vocals on it, over at patreon.com. And of course, you can find me at insaneian.bandcamp.com for all your Insane Ian needs.
All right. We're going to do some news and then do the Via Bella interview. You going to stick around? You taking off?
I mean, I may as well.
Okay. Let's do some news.
This is the FuMP.
I know I'm a dork, and I wanna sing something dumb all day. Yes, I do. Ow, I love parodies. I just wanna sing something dumb all day.
I'll wrap around your jumbo shrimp and get your heart a-racing, and always leave you satisfied if I can be your bacon.
But some things you can't have your way. Could you just let her watch her boyfriend play? You can't stand Swifties.
That's the Funny Music Project at thefump.com. THEFUMP.com.
For the my brains, get me off this train. This really is a pain. Should've took a plane. Get me off this train.
Time for funny music news. Something, something, something.
In the news, Ookla the Mock has been inducted into the Filk Hall of Fame. The ceremony took place recently at Filk, Ontario, where Adam and Rand performed together for the first time since 2018, and we talk about this during the Via Bella interview coming up. So big congratulations to Ookla the Mock. That is amazing.
That is incredible. I was at that 2018 performance of Ookla the Mock. That was at WindyCon here in Chicago, and they released a good portion of that as a live album. It was supposed to be the entire concert. They had 2 or 3 concerts that weekend, but for whatever reason, something happened in the recordings that they weren't able to get everything. So they salvaged what they could, cleaned it up, and released it as an album. But sadly, it was not the entire performance as they had originally intended, and it was supposed to be for like the anniversary of the band too, because their drummer was there, and it was the full band. So
nice.
Oh, and also another comedy adjacent Filk group that got inducted to the Filk Hall of Fame was the Faithful Sidekicks.
Oh, right. Yes.
Who have I think they've done a FuMP song, but they've been at MarsCon. They've been part of the Space Oddity room, and Eric, who is in Faithful Sidekicks, also helps run FuMP.
Cool. And all right. There is a new Tom Lehrer musical debuting in the UK in June called Tom Lehrer is Teaching Math and Doesn't Want to Talk to You.
That's a great name.
Yeah. The description says, in 1960, at the height of his fame, singer-songwriter and satirist Tom Lehrer gave it all up. He spent the rest of his career as an obscure maths lecturer. This show investigates the strange disappearance of Tom Lehrer and includes some of his greatest songs like Poisoning Pigeons in the Park and The Elements. From the writer of sellout shows including Vodka with Stalin and A Modest Little Man, this new musical features the music of Tom Lehrer shed light on the most enigmatic figure in musical comedy. So
easy to do now since he's released all his songs into the public domain.
So
it's
yes,
almost as if people could just, do whatever they want with it, like release albums of covers.
Like they could,
yeah,
yes.
That's a great idea. I wonder who thought of that.
So if you're in the UK in June, look this up.
Yes. That sounds like fun. It's the second musical for Tom Lehrer, because Tomfoolery.
Tomfoolery is out.
So wait, when is it running again?
June in the UK. That's all the information I have. I don't know specifically where.
I will technically be in the UK in June.
Oh, cool.
it'll be like June 30th. So if the show's running a bunch of weeks, maybe I could actually see it.
Well, since they haven't announced a closing date, I assume it's going to be running until it doesn't.
Well,
possibly.
I will have to look into that then.
Yeah, look it up when you get over there. It'd be great. We can get a first-hand account of it.
I also have been meaning to email the lads from Flat 29 to let them know I'm going to be in their country, just to see if I'm coincidentally going to be near any of them, and we could say hey and hang out.
Am I going to be in the vicinity of you? Let me know. That doesn't sound creepy at all.
No, but I love it.
It'll be reverse Paul Revere because of me. It's like because Americans are invading. The red hats are coming. The red hats are coming.
Hopefully not the actual red hats. No. Remember we had Witty Cindy do a song about red hats at FuMPFest a couple years ago.
Yes, that was great. All right. Devo Spice announces album of cover songs. What? Yes, I'm putting out an album of cover songs called Cover Up, which includes almost all of the covers I've released over the years for various other side projects. There's a couple I left off. I didn't include like the original cover of Happy Birthday that I did just because it's so old at this point. I didn't include Hey Birthday Boy, but I did include Hey Birthday Girl because that one was like mostly unreleased. I think I included that on like the Best of Sudden Death Volume 3 for the Kickstarter backers, but that's the only place you could get it. So this album includes my
Go ahead. I was going to say, I suddenly remember you sending me something that I was supposed to listen to that I didn't get a chance to.
Oh, that's okay.
So
it includes New Math, The Big 5-0, The Laundromat of Sin, Domino Death, Resistance, There's a Platypus Controlling Me, and more, plus some live performances from MarsCon that I've done over the years, including House Tickle Pfeiffer, Words That Sound Dirty But Ain't, and Eat All the Old People. Plus, the album has 3 new songs on it. One of them is a cover of It's All About the Pentiums by Weird Al Yankovic, and the idea with this song was I had always said for years now that if there was ever another Weird Al tribute album, I was going to do a cover of It's All About the Pentiums using the original music rather than the rock remix, which is what Al used, just because I want that version of the song to exist. So I thought, nobody's making another Weird Al tribute album, apparently, so this is as good an excuse as any to do this. So I did this, and I did the music as chiptunes instead of just recreating the sample exactly, because I thought it would sound more interesting and a little more appropriate. So
nice.
So you wanted to do a version of the song that sounded like the original, but you're not making it sound like the original.
Right,
is what
yes.
you're saying.
See, that's exactly what I'm saying, yes.
Making it sound like the original, but only if it had been done at Nerdapalooza circa 2009-2010.
Right. Yes, exactly. One of the other song I covered is Tortuga by Ailstorm. And
nice.
This one is it's from like 2 albums prior. I forget the name of the album it's on. Because there's 2 versions of Tortuga. There's Tortuga, then there's Return to Tortuga. The original Tortuga is ostensibly a rap song featuring Captain Yarface as the second vocalist doing this metal rap song. So I was like, a week ago, I was listening to that album, and I was like, "Oh, I could cover this song." I was like, "Ooh, I could get Captain Dan to do the second verse." Ooh. And I'm like, ooh, I have a week. Can I do this? So
I'm excited if you got Captain Dan on it.
I did get Captain Dan
already.
I did get Captain Dan. He is on the album. I got Trevor Cochran from the Thumbnuts to do the music, and he just knocked it out of the park. It sounds so cool.
That's excellent. I'm glad that you're doing Tortuga and not Tortuga 2. Because yes. I know it's not called that, but Tortuga 2 sounds like too many 2s in the 2 Souths.
And the third new song on the album is my cover of What's Up Spock by the great Luke Ski, just because I've always wanted to cover that song.
So which version of What's Up Spock are you covering?
Yes.
You will have to listen to it, yes.
Oh, dang. I guess I will have to be surprised, just like everybody else.
Yes.
Yes, you two are going to have to go on some sort of nonchalant hunt to find out which version he's doing.
Yes, and he also decided that
I got it right this time.
And he also decided to do it klezmer style, because he always wanted to hear it klezmer style for no reason.
Stay tuned for Luke Ski's new album, Klezmer Style.
featuring Steve Goody.
I was
Because
honestly with this song, I was debating whether or not to include the Q verse, and I kept going back and forth. I'm like, do I want to? Do I not want to? And I finally said, screw it, I'm just include it. So it does have the Q verse in it.
excellent.
So this album, my album cover up, will be available on May 3rd on Bandcamp, because it's the next Bandcamp Friday at devospice.bandcamp.com. And I'm going to be migrating the store at devospice.com to Bandcamp because I'm paying for Shopify, and I'm not selling enough CDs to justify the cost of Shopify. So it's just stop it at this point. I will have CDs on hand with me at RavenCon this weekend. So if you're coming to RavenCon, you can pick up a copy a week early.
Ooh.
I'd just like to state for the record that my All Covers album, which basically has been in the making as long as, Needlessly Meta was, except that Needlessly Meta got finished and this one hasn't. I do intend to release it at some point. It's going to. I've had the title for years. It's going to be called Nonstop Coverage.
That's a good title.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
And that's why it's not out, because you haven't stopped it.
well, because there's a few specific covers I really want to do, but are way more intricate than I can just quickly throw together. And so because of that, I'm just kind of hung up on, like, do I want to wait and try to get those specific covers I really want to make happen, or am I just going to give up at some point, kind of like I did with Needlessly Meta, and say, I got to get the album out, and just put it out. So,
Meanwhile, my cover album, Under the Influences, came out in 2016, and that is still available. There's an extended version on Spotify and all the other streaming things, and then another cover album that I did where I'm specifically just covering TV's Kyle, and Kyle is covering me. It's called Naval Gazing Society, and that's available over at scooterpicnic.bandcamp.com. That came out earlier this year. I have been planning a cover album myself, not just because you guys are doing it, but because I've been wanting to do another cover album, and that one's going to be called Playing Favorites, and that's going to be happening at some point.
Nice.
well, see, the fact that this covers album of mine has been in the making for over 9 years now. Like, this is basically me following the insane Ian business plan of putting out things by taking forever and ever and ever to get them actually done and put out in the world.
I don't know what you mean. What could you possibly mean by that? This is a foreign concept to me. Who is this insane Ian you're talking about? I don't understand.
He's the puppet that was in the living room of the house you used to live in.
Well,
Right. These are
honestly,
all
one of the reasons I wanted to put out this covers album is because I could get it out fairly quickly, because other than those 3 songs, everything else is done. I had the cover art and whatnot I still had to do, but like the majority of the work was done, so I could get it done in a reasonable time, because it's been 5 years since I put out an album, and I'm like, that's got to stop. I need to put something out there. So
yeah, no, it was about almost about the same amount of time for me, because even between the cover album I did was like the last thing I had done before I moved to Illinois, and that's why the next album was called Illinois.
Mhm.
So it had been a huge chunk of time for me for that.
Well,
So
the
I
point
get
is,
it. Believe me, throwing things together of like all the songs that you already had, I'm like, yeah, this thing's done. Go.
and what do you get when you put it all together?
Chicken.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank
yes,
you.
Luke.
Thank
You get chicken. I cannot never reference anything that is not a Luke Ski song anymore. But no, that's what I do with my B-side collections. I'm like, hey, these are all, I have enough of these to put on a CD. Ha!
here, it's your problem now.
Exactly. I've made it the world's problem now.
All
I
right.
put it all together. That means shit. That means the next album I do, because I put it all together. My next B-side collection is gonna be called Chicken.
Chicken,
Because
yes.
fuck, you. Why not? Just,
Or it needs to be called It's Your Problem Now.
Yeah.
that's the parenthetical. It's gonna be called Chicken. It's your problem now, and I'm covering your song. Inside jokes. We don't have enough of those.
Nope. All right. If you are in Omaha, Nebraska, just a reminder that Bill Frenzer's new one-man show will be debuting tomorrow night at the Blackstone Theater. He'll be doing a one-man show every Thursday at 8 p.m. starting tomorrow night. Actually, I'm sorry, it's starting tonight. It's tonight at 8 p.m. Pacific, so you still got time if you're in the area. Bill calls it a mad bit of freeform improv, music, random half-truths, and, well, Whatever Happens, which is the title of the show, Whatever Happens with Bill Frenzer.
That's excellent. I did notice that the new FuMPFest CD is on the FuMP store.
Yep. That's next on the list.
I figured it might be next on the list because you said Bill Frenzer, and I'm like, oh yeah, Ogden Edsel is on the thing. Oh yeah, that's a thing. So I need to put that on the Instagram. Yeah.
Yes, the FuMPFest 2023 compilation is now available in the store at FuMPFest.com or thefump.com, featuring 2 CDs worth of music recorded at FuMPFest 2023, and lots of good fun memories and stuff. This is once again a fundraiser being used to raise money for the convention. So if you would like to help us out and get some awesome music in the process, please go to FuMPFest.com and pick it up. I'm not going to be shipping any until I get back from RavenCon, so it ain't going to go out till Monday or Tuesday. But you can order it. And
I'm on that CD, and so is Luke.
You are.
And so is Devo.
Yep.
All 3 of us are on it. It's a good time.
Sometimes at the same time.
That is true. We are usually in the same room together at the same time. It's weird how that works.
Sometimes arguing about spatulas.
Yes.
And driving Ian mad.
There's a lot of driving Ian and completely insane, making him live up to his name by usurping his power.
That whole exchange was so funny. I just had to put the whole thing on the album.
I'm so glad you did. I'm glad it's been not only memorialized in video, but as well as audio now for the CD.
Yep.
That makes me happy in my soul.
All right, and finally, the other compilation that is now available, and I will also have with me at RavenCon, is the FuMP Presents Our Funniest Songs of 2023. This is similar to the free compilation we put out, except this has 20 songs on it instead of 10.
This is similar to the free compilation, except you have to pay for it.
Right, yes. If you
This is similar to the free compilation, except this is physical and longer, so give us money.
And if you want Chuck's awesome cover art, you need to give us money for it. That's
absolutely, because that cover art is fucking phenomenal. Thank you, Chuck, for that. That is one of the best drawings of me I've ever seen, but also of many of these other people. But also, importantly to me, that's a great drawing of me. So thank you. I think that cover art is phenomenal.
Yeah, I do
really
too.
captures the chaos that is FuMPFest.
Yep.
Also, I'm the Pope.
Yes.
Also, you are the Pope.
Well, and I'm Yosemite Sam, so you know.
Also, I'm the Pope is just the best title ever. Also, I'm the Pope.
Luke's next album,
Why
Luke
not?
Ski. Also, I'm the Pope.
That's a good time. That's a good time.
So, actually, my next album will be my 13th album. I'm tentatively titling it Triskaidecamania.
Gesundheit.
But yeah, Chuck's. I mean, she's already done amazing work on, other FuMP albums. But it's like my favorite thing about doing FuMP album covers when I have the time and mental spoons to do so is to try to work in as many references to as many songs and artists as possible in those covers in a way that makes sense. And like this is like the kind of field goal, friggin' touchdown, slam dunk, hat trick, Olympic gold medal winner of working in references to all the artists and songs on one album cover. It's like Chuck just schooled me. I mean, she was already schooling me, but now she's thoroughly schooled me.
Yeah,
so I bow to your superiority
on that cover. There's so many great references on that cover, but yeah. Like you do tend to work a lot of references in, but this is like it like
it's got all of them as far as I can tell. It references every song on the album as far as I can tell.
Yeah, which is phenomenal. It's so good.
And I just had an idea. We should get this printed up at like 24 by 24 or some large format and raffle it off at FuMPFest.
That's
Yes.
a great thing. We need it. We need a FuMPFest raffle as it is. So
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Make a mental note of that because I will forget.
I think my favorite person on that album art is Kyle. Hold it up again.
Here is the album art, and let me see if I can zoom in on Kyle.
Kyle is getting pelted by both a football and a tape measure.
Yep. That's John Mishner over there with because 50-inch penis is on this, so he's got the tape measure and he's poking Kyle in the face, and Kyle's also got
I am
the
both
football.
singing a song about Loki because that's on my shirt, and I'm being Worm Quartet's mic stand for mic stand.
Yep. Yep. So
references.
References.
There's a lot of references.
all the references. All right. Anything else before tour dates?
Nothing I can think of.
Our birthdays later in the show?
Yes.
Okay, then I'll save that for later.
All right. On Sundays in Nashville, Tennessee, Steve Goody hosting at the Bluebird. On Sundays online, Two Sleeps. Mondays online, Steve Goody and Brad Tassel at virtualcomedyshow.com. Mondays and Wednesdays online, Bill Larkin. The weekend of the 26th through 28th in Glen Allen, Virginia, Devo Spice. The 26th in Nashville, Tennessee, Steve Goody. The 26th in Santa Rosa, California, Phil Johnson and Roadside Attraction. The 26th in Kennett Square, Pennsylvania, Carla Ulbrich. The 28th on YouTube, Escape from the Secret Lab, featuring the Consortium of Genius. On the 28th in North Bergen, New Jersey, Carla Ulbrich. On the 1st in Voorheesville, New York, Drew Jacobs. On the 3rd in Clovis, California, Phil Johnson and Roadside Attraction.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
On the 3rd in Morristown, New Jersey, Carla Ulbrich. And on the 5th online, Carla Ulbrich. All right. Birthdays. Today, the 25th, is Chris Mezzalesta's birthday. He turned 60 today. Happy birthday, Chris.
Woo! Fix it!
Happy birthday, Chris!
And job!
Okay!
Whoa!
Honey mustard!
That's on the compilation, too, when during... I don't know if you guys remember, but during the game show, when we were about to call the names, I said we had 7 names, but we only needed 6 contestants, so somebody was going to get left out. And I said, we'll figure out something special to do for him. And then Chris yelled out hand job in the background. And then I very quickly queued up the sound effect of Gilbert going, no!
Oh.
This is what happens at a live thing, yes.
See, this is the fun you can relive if you weren't there on the FuMPFest compilation.
Yeah.
So 10 years ago when Chris turned 50, that's when I surprised him by sending him a music video I had secretly made featuring dang near everybody involved with the FuMP for his song Corned Beef and Cabbage, where I had them all dancing, and I also had a little animated cartoon Corned Beef and Cabbage in front of him, and it was really nifty. So you can see that on the Power Salad YouTube page, or just search for Power Salad, Corned Beef and Cabbage. And then 3 years ago, I did a follow-up, which is mainly just footage of Chris in his kitchen for Red Beans and Rice. But yeah, it was, I can't go around making music videos for everybody on their big birthdays. But I
Why
wanted to at
not?
least
Don't
point
you have
that out.
anything? You don't have anything better to do. I know. You just video birthdays. What are you doing?
That could be a side hustle. Video birthdays. Yeah,
Video birthdays.
absolutely.
I could come up with a new version of a birthday song and get every comedy musician in the world to record their version of it.
That's never been
And
done
then never
before.
release that album.
And step 2, question mark, step 3, profit.
Yes.
He released that, didn't he?
No,
He didn't?
I don't think so. The Hey Birthday Boy album never came out, as far as I know.
Oh, you know what? It might have just been a gift
We all
for
released
Robert Lund.
our versions
yeah.
of them.
But it might have just been like a gift for Robert Lund, where he made one to give to Robert.
Entirely possible. I thought that it was being made as an album forever, but for everyone. But my 4 versions of that wound up on my first B-side collection. Grand Theft Audio, and 2 of them are problematic now. So, whoops, sorry.
Yeah, it happens.
I didn't know any better. I didn't know any better then. I'm sorry.
A similar phenomena to that was this was pre the FuMP existing. Earlier incarnations of my website, when I was making it with like some very rudimentary website stuff, I had a links page for comedy music bands that was basically like the background of the website was just like a light orange, like a more yellowish orange and stuff. But it was just like a big list of links of like, The Great Luke's Key, Sudden Death, Worm Quartet, blah, 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 and like listing off all the comedy musicians I knew in this one page. So VH1 did this pilot where they were looking for people to make comedy songs about things that were topical, like in entertainment news. Do you remember what the title of that show was?
No, I don't, but I remember that happening.
Yeah.
So eventually, they asked me to submit something, and then I found out that they were asking like dang near everybody I knew, and then I eventually found out from the people at VH1 that they were just doing web searches trying to find websites listing off current comedy music acts, and they found my webpage with a list of everybody's links. So basically, I became their go-to site to find other people currently making comedy music today. So the various they were looking for songs on 4 different topics. One was award shows. One was Jennifer Lopez, and to a further extent, her being involved with Ben Affleck. And, oh man, I can't remember what the other 2 were, but I remember just like, all of like our whole kind of the cluster of bands that all knew each other. Like suddenly a whole lot of people had a whole lot of songs about Jennifer Lopez at about the same time on all of their albums. And it was like, well, so, but I was lucky enough to be one of the ones that actually made it onto the pilot, because I did an original hip hop song about award shows called "And the Winner Is," which they paid me a decent chunk of change for. In fact, that chunk of change allowed me to release my album, Worst Album Ever, early enough to surprise debut it at MarsCon in 2003. But, technically because they released it like, VH1, I guess now Viacom owns that song, but, the pilot never got made into a proper show, so nothing was ever done with it again. So it's like, it's snuck its way onto some releases of mine because I felt like I didn't want to put that much effort into a song and have nobody hear it. And nobody from Viacom has ever come after me, so whatever.
Hey, well, now that you've said this onto a podcast, no, probably not.
Well, I mean, it's been over 7 years. There's probably a statute of limitations. I was going to say
there's probably a statute of limitations, and B, it never got released. So
and C, I'm a comedy musician and nobody cares.
Right, nobody cares. And it's 17 years, and it's entirely possible that the rights have reverted back to you at this point.
Entirely possible the rights have reverted back to you. And also, you're not making money on this. We're not doing this because we make money.
I posted a picture of my little caricature TV tray with stuff on it and the chairs from earlier today, and I posted it on my social media with the caption, "What? And leave show business?"
Yep.
Anyway, hey, right. We have more show to do, don't we?
We do. We still have 2 birthdays to get through.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Coming up on the 29th, Todd Chappelle, and coming up on the 30th, Joe J. Thomas. So happy birthday, guys.
Yeah, happy birthday.
All right. Second song of the week is another one from Via Bella's new album, Live in Germany. Here is the MST3 cover of Africa.
An Africa cover? What?
Who would dare?
We may fail spectacularly on this one. Hear the drums echoing tonight. She hears only whispers of some quiet conversation.
That's not how sound works, right? I mean, if she can hear the quiet conversation, wouldn't she be able to hear the drums?
She's coming in 12:30 flight.
Okay, you're in 2 different places. I got it.
Moonlit wings reflect the stars that guide me towards salvation. I stopped an old man along the way.
Wait. I thought she was the one who was traveling. Did you stop the old man along the way to the airport?
Hoping to find some long forgotten words or ancient melody.
Ancient? How old was this guy?
He turned to me as if to say, hurry boy, it's waiting there for you.
He turned to me as if to say, hurry boy, it's waiting there for you. Best body language ever.
Gonna take a lot to drag me away from you. There's nothing that 100 men or more could ever do. High blush rains down in Africa. Gonna take some time to do the things we never had. Wild dogs cry out in the night as they go restless, longing for some solitary company.
What exactly is solitary company? You don't know what words mean, do you?
I know that I must do what's right. Sure as Kilimanjaro rises like Olympus above the Serengeti.
No. That is not how similes work. You can't just say, the cat jumped on the mouse like a different, similar cat.
I seek to cure what's deep inside. I'm frightened of this thing that I've become.
Wait. Oh my God. Okay. Moonlit wings, long forgotten words and ancient melodies, wild dogs, seek to cure what's deep inside, frightened of this thing that I've become. You're a werewolf, aren't you?
Gonna take a lot to drag me away from you. There's nothing that 100 men or more can ever do. I bless the rain down in Africa. Gonna take some time to do the things we never had.
All right. Okay, see, a werewolf has the strength of many men, which is why it would take 100 men or more to drive the werewolf away from her. Oh, and he's blessing the rain because the clouds cover up the moon, which prevent him from becoming a werewolf.
Gonna take a lot to drag me away from you. There's nothing that 100 men or more can ever do. I bless the rains down in Africa. Gonna take some time to do the things we never had.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Really, I am overjoyed. My heart is full.
I'm here with Via Bella. How you doing, guys?
Doing well.
So this is another song from Live in Germany.
Yes.
And another one of your MST3 covers, as you call them.
Yes.
So, yeah, tell us about Africa.
Yeah. It was probably, it's like most of these, it starts with us have occasion to hear the song, and I just kind of make fun of the lyrics as we're in a car or whatever, just talking. And then, as is usually the case with a lot of our songs, I focus on the minutia and the detail, and Aaron focuses on the big picture. And I think you were the one that kind of were like, oh, we can bring in the whole werewolf thing, and kind of have a narrative through line. But for me, it was just in particular, I think the line for me that made me want to do this was the body language one. He turned to me as if to say, "Hurry, boy, it's waiting there for you." Like, how would one possibly move their body in such a way as to communicate such a specific,
Right.
So
Right.
yeah.
But
So
I love the whole werewolf aspect of this. It just kind of elevates the song to a new level. Because like all of a sudden the song is about werewolves, and it's like, yes, okay.
Well, and the fact that the audience was so ahead of us on the changing the the vocal affectation at the end of the song to a howl. You know what I mean? That they were on top of that made it.
Oh, you didn't prompt them at all to do that?
No, that's what. No, like I said, this was not a song we even planned to do. Like, it's one that we had written several years ago. We did it live a couple of times, and we just kind of set it aside and for like I kind of like called an audible like during our encore. I was like, let's try this one and see what happens. And it really came out quite well. And as far as the audience, and these things, like, we've got, I don't know, 3 or 4 of these, and whenever we bring them up, I've always thought like they'd be fun to get out to the world, but it seemed dumb to record it in a studio. It seems like part of the audience's response to it is part of what makes it worth listening to, I think.
Yeah, I could see that. This is definitely, the type of song that works better live.
Yeah. Were you going to say something that you?
Oh, I don't remember.
No.
Sorry.
I'm going to run off camera really quick. I'll be right back. I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's back.
There he is.
That is all. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So how many more of these do you have?
Well, the only one that we could like perform right now, other than the 2, there's of course Rocket Man is the the hit or whatever, and then Africa, and then we do have one of Ironic,
right?
Which and it's pretty. That's one of the reasons we don't pull that one out too much, is because it's kind of been done. The idea of we'll make them actually ironic. I'm sure you've probably heard there's all over the internet. There's people doing that sort of thing, like again, the shift that we did was that because we're doing it with me singing it and Aaron talking, it gives us as much space as we need to have an elaborate explanation for how that situation could be made ironic. So that's probably the only contribution we made. That
we just expanded it, which we thought made it funnier.
But yeah, like I said, that I think we did perform that during our shows in Germany, but it's not it's not on the album. So if anyone really is desperate for it, I do have a recording of it. We can, if there's enough demand for it, we can release it on the FuMP, I suppose. But yeah, I'm not expecting that.
Yeah.
So.
What you should do is when you perform at a convention, just do a song that's by one of the other performers who's there. So, like do a cover of whoever else is performing, do their song and just make fun of it. That would be great.
It would have to be someone we know well enough.
Right.
That they know that we were doing it out of love.
Well, I'm going to be at NASVIC. If you want to do one of my songs.
I was going to say, I was thinking you or Shoebox might be the 2 most obvious ones to, Because actually you brought up NASVIC and
yes.
Yeah, you want to.
So I think we mentioned this last time we talked to you, but I am running the music / Filk track at NASVIC. So I'm the person to contact if you're
any FuMPers out there that are and we'll get you her details so you can put them in a when you post this you can have her contact so people can reach out to her.
Okay, sure, yeah.
But you'll be there certainly.
Yep.
I will be there. Why don't you tell people when and where it's happening?
Right. That is happening and I should have had these dates. It's the 3rd weekend in July, and I keep forgetting what exactly those dates are.
Yeah, see, I was asking you because
Buffalo.
I kept forgetting what the dates are. So.
Right.
Yeah. Yes, NASVIC is in downtown Buffalo this year.
It's at the Hyatt downtown and the Buffalo Convention Center. And I believe that is July 18th, 21st.
Okay. And yeah, like FuMPer, I mean, you'll be there. Worm Quartet will be there. This isn't confirmed yet, but Ookla the Mock might be there. We're still, trying to figure out what it means for Ookla the Mock to perform live. But if we can get that worked out, that may happen. Again, it's not guaranteed yet, but something to look for.
So speaking of Ookla the Mock performing live, you guys did your first live performance recently, right? In a very long time?
Last weekend, Adam and I did a 5-song set at Filk, Ontario, which was the first time that we had performed live since 2018, if you can stand it. We had after as some of you may know, we were at Archon in 2018, and after that show, all of our gear was stolen. And through the great kindness of many of our fans, we were able to get money to get most of that gear back. And then we were kind of like Adam, for other things were happening in Adam's life that were all good things, and then he wanted to take a little bit of time off, which has kind of allowed Aaron and I to do our thing. And then just as Adam and I were starting to get together and write new songs and work on things, Adam had a stroke. And then shortly after that, pandemic happened and the world shut down. So things have gotten in the way. But the thing that occasioned, or I guess, the reason that we were able to perform was that last weekend at Filk, Ontario, Adam and I were inducted into the Filk Hall of Fame, which is, as big a deal as it sounds. It was, something that we're very, very excited and happy about.
Yes, and huge congratulations on that. That's amazing.
And it was during the Filk Hall of Fame concert, that we performed. We did, we performed. You'll be very pleased to know that we performed with backing tracks for the most part, which you've been, I know I've told this story, I think, on the FuMPCast before, but when we played at Con on the Cob with you, we were setting up all of our instruments and amps and gear and stuff, and you looked at us and said, "Instruments? How 20th century?"
Yeah.
And which really, I thought was really funny. It was like such a great, way of putting that. But because since Adam's stroke, he really can't play guitar. And so because of that, we, were creating backing tracks, and we performed Mr. Wharf, Superpowers, Song of Kong, and Evil Eye with backing tracks. And then I grabbed the acoustic guitar and we did Tiberius Rising with me playing acoustic guitar. And so that was, that's how we did that. And so we're hoping to, we can get more backing tracks going, figure out what songs we can do acoustic. I think we can make something happen. So yay.
That's fantastic. That's awesome. I was just trying to look up some of the past Filk Hall of Fame inductees.
Well, certainly Tom Smith, Urban Tapestry. I mean, it's I'm trying to think people that FuMPers would know.
Right.
Tom Smith is there. Randy Hoffman is there.
Yeah.
That's right.
Harold Stein, Judy Miller. I'm trying to think of people. Marav Hoffman. I don't know, like people who in our circles may know.
Right. So yeah, it's definitely a huge honor, and we're in very, very good company. It's fun and exciting. So
yeah.
This website hasn't been updated since 2021, so I don't know who the 22 or 23 inductees were. You're not listed yet, so.
Last year with Cat Faber. Yeah, I thought the 23 was there. Cat Faber's there. The 24, the inductees this year were, Adam and I, and Eric and Jen Distad, who some of you might know as the Faithful Sidekicks.
Oh yeah.
And Sean McGuire, who.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I'm sure many of people listening are aware of her as a writer, either under her name, Shauna McGuire, or the pseudonym Mira Grant. But Shauna is also a very gifted, songwriter and singer. And as evidenced by her induction this year into the Filk Hall of Fame.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've read several books of the Mira Grant name.
Yeah. Yeah, the Newsflesh trilogy in particular is
really good.
Yeah. Really good. So anything by Sean and her, is she's also done. She wrote the Spider-Gwen comic for a couple of years.
Oh, did she really? I didn't know that.
And she was great.
I think it's issue 4, and because she was titling all the issues from like quotes from songs. And I think it's issue 4 is called "Like Stars from the Sky," which is a quote from Ookla's Superpower song, which like really, did my heart well. She also named the diner where all the characters hang out is called Naps, which is Erin's maiden name. So.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Erin and Shannon are. I mean, I've known Shannon. I knew her when she was a teenager. God help me. But Erin and her have become become friends. So we're super excited to be inducted. Being inducted was obviously amazing, but the fact that we're good friends with the Faithful Sidekicks and with Shannon, and so that was fun. And Randy Hoffman inducted us, kind of read our citation.
Yeah.
And for those of you that don't know, Randy has, is certainly responsible for informing Adam and I that the music we were writing was indeed Filk. Like we didn't know we had written quite a number of songs and we were just writing about superheroes of Star Trek because that's what we wanted to write about. And he was like, you guys are going really well at a Filk, and we're like, what are you talking? We had no idea what that was, and turns out he was right. So, as he often is.
Well, that's awesome. So congratulations again. Do you guys have anything you'd like to plug?
Well, I guess NASVIC is probably the big thing coming up. I should, I don't know if this is not plugging, but it is going back that Filk Ontario, which was the Filk convention in Toronto that just happened last weekend. Erin was the co-chair.
Yeah.
And last year they had actually, the committee had stepped down and we thought that con was going to go away. And through the work of Erin and the rest of the ConCom, it did not go away. And so I wanted to just applaud her and thank her for, because that's really our home con.
Yeah.
Meaning that, certainly it's the closest Filk con to Buffalo. And it's been, Adam and I have been, we first went to Filk Ontario in 1994. It was certainly the first concert we had in fandom. The first concert we played that wasn't like in a dank bar in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Was it from Ontario? And let me assure you, the audience in Filk Ontario was a lot more accepting to our songs about Mr. Potato Head and Aquaman.
And it was also, the years are much different, but it was also the first Filk convention that actually was probably the first convention of any kind that I ever attended. Rand brought me.
Yeah, it was 2005, right? Yeah.
In 2005, and it was also the first convention that I performed in a concert at. So
wow, so it's an important con to to us certainly, and so I'm really glad that Erin stepped up, and put her, decided to put her time into it. So,
fantastic.
Yeah. All right, so we have nothing else to.
Yep.
Yeah, we are hoping to. We've got, as if you've heard our live album, I mean, it is available through the store at the FuMP. It's also on our Bandcamp page, which is viabellaband.bandcamp.com.
Great.
But if you're familiar with our first album, there's only 4 songs from our first album that are on our live album. There's like 20 tracks, and most of them are otherwise unavailable. So a lot of people avoid live albums because, well, I don't need to hear the same songs again.
Yeah.
Most of these are new songs. And I would say, maybe half of them will be recorded in the studio eventually, but the other half, I would say, good half of that album is never going to be released in any other format. So,
right.
Check that out if you like it.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us.
All right.
All right.
And we will catch you next time.
All right.
Okay.
Take care.
Making the internet absolutely ridiculous. Dementia Radio.
www.dementiaradio.org. Port 8027.
Please hang up and try again.
This is the part where there's feedback. 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 You know that segment of the show we do about now? Feedback. Feedback. Feedback.
Feedback.
Wacky Ben.
Wacky Ben wrote, "Hey Fumpers, it's Wacky Ben back from the dead, so grab whatever you can to protect yourself from zombies. I just stopped by to promote my brand new podcast, Sunday Funnies with Wacky Ben, which I started production on August 20th, 2023, and you can listen to new episodes every Sunday afternoon on madmusic.com and archive.org. Still don't have a website. Hope everyone is doing well and look forward to playing more songs from the FuMP on my new show." Well, best of luck with the new show, Ben. It's always good to hear new funny songs happening, funny shows.
Lee, let's sing a song about Lee, let's sing a song about Lee, you're testing my ADD.
Almost forgot to play his intro. Then where would we be? Eclectic Lee wrote, "Good evening, Fumpers. A couple questions for Via Bella. First, it seems like the audience was half a step ahead of you. Was that the case? And if so, were you surprised?" They said in the interview that they did not prompt the audience at all, so yes, they were surprised. Second, can I suggest a video for any future MST3 covers? I felt like I was missing something interesting. Silent interactions between the two of you during the song. I will pass that on to them in case they don't hear this.
Something else you can pass on to them is the only thing surprising about Ookla the Mock being inducted into the Filk Hall of Fame is that it happened in the year 2024 and not about 19 years ago.
Right?
Yeah.
That was the part that was making me go, wait, what? I mean, and the reason why I say 19 is because looking at that list, that was the same year they inducted Tom Smith. I'm like, okay, Tom, if they started in 95, it took them 10 years to get to Tom Smith, fine, but Ookla should have been immediately next. What? So, yeah.
All right.
Last episode was
Draconis alert.
Oh dear.
Draconis wrote, "This is for all the Gen Xers out there," and then there's a link to cheeseburger.com with 35 Gen X memes for 80s kids raised on hose water. So you can check that out on the site. Some
Holy
funny stuff
crap,
on
that
there.
came up in my Google News feed about an hour ago.
Oh, really? What were you going to say, Ian, before that?
Last episode, this is episode 723, right?
I believe so. Yes, it is.
So we have 2 YouTube comments for episode 722.
I got them.
Okay.
Actually, I have 3.
I only show 2, but I'm sure a third one's up there somewhere. That's fine.
All right. Carter, how do you say his last name? Wallenius?
Wallenius.
Carter Wallenius
I believe it's
wrote,
Wallenius, anyway.
"Currently and frantically writing down this whole timeline. Thank you for these specific dates/times. Carter, I shared that document with you, so you can just refer to that. You don't have to frantically write it down." And
for those who don't know, Carter's doing Carter is among the crew that is doing the FuMP documentary.
Yeah.
Also, my light went out, so I'm a little darker here, and things are getting blurry. It's a little weird looking to. Oh no, it's Back to the Future, and my hand's disappearing.
He's booting people in the head while.
Hey, log! Oh my god, it's you, not again!
Zoom really needs to fix this lag. A-Log wrote, "Glad to see Bob and the gang of Project Sisyphus back after 7 years. I still remember a lot of their hits on there, especially 10,000 Friends on MySpace, which may or may not be the last novelty song that Bob Ritchie was ever involved in. Dear Lord, I miss that guy and his work." Thank you, A-Log. And Tease Chillin wrote, "The prototype FuMPCast mentioned would be a great bonus item to the documentary if Dr. D is cool with it, of course." So, not a bad idea. I don't know that we'd get permission to include it.
Yeah.
Might be a little tough.
Yeah. All right. That's it for feedback. All right.
And by the way, yes,
he's a teasing kind of guy.
Every time Luke or I try to say something, Devo's already moved on and clicks the next bumper. So there's lag on Zoom, so Luke's about to say something and keeps getting interrupted by somebody screaming or singing something as an intro.
Yeah, they need to fix this.
So, Luke, you were about to say before you've decided to crawl inside of yourself and die?
No, I'm just full of rage now. I can't even remember what I was going to say.
All right, well, teasing. Tomorrow's song is by me. Me.
Gee, I wonder which one of the songs that you did for your new thing might be on this.
Yeah.
If it might be a song from your new thing.
It is a song
is.
from my new thing.
I mean, I figured it would be since you have a new thing.
Yep. And
Tuesday song is not yet posted.
so we'll see what happens with that.
Hey, look, that was me doing a singing or screaming thing.
That was you.
There was a chance there you could have interrupted yourself.
I could have, but I knew it was coming. So,
all right. I need a Spotify playlist topic. Do you think interrupting?
Yes, perfect.
Do you think there's enough of the music on Spotify to do a full playlist of people who are in the Filk Hall of Fame? Because I can do Ookla, Tom Smith.
Ooh.
There's a ton of people on that list. I'd say, yeah.
There are a ton of people on that list, and I do believe a lot of them are on Spoofy. So,
all right, I will do that.
Or just make it all Tom Smith and Ookla, and that would be fine too.
Yeah.
And the one Faithful Sidekick song that was on the FuMP.
Yep. All right. That's all we got for this week. Ian, plug yourself one more time.
I am at youtube.com/insaneian or patreon.com/insaneian or, of course, insaneian.bandcamp.com.
And Via Bella are at viabellaband.bandcamp.com. And I will be at RavenCon this weekend. Come by if you're going to be there and watch my show and watch my short. And
I'll be at C2E2 this weekend on Saturday. I'm not performing or anything. I'm just going to be walking around shopping.
Stalking Rothschilds.
Yeah. Or the other way around. One of the two.
Do you want to see Insane Ian this weekend? He's got benches and whatever.
Perfect.
All right, let's get out of here. Thank you for listening to the Funny Music Podcast. I'm Devo Spice.
I'm Luke Ski. Look, there's Ian. He's right there.
I'm here. I'm also here. Hi. I exist. I can't see my hand waving.
To
it's
the
weird.
Funny Music Podcast. You can listen live every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific at DementiaRadio.org and join us in the chat. Or subscribe to the podcast feed. Look us up on iTunes and be sure to leave us a review. Feedback for the show can be sent to info@thefump.com. The Funny Music Podcast is a production of Fidem Interactive, LLC, released under a Creative Commons share-alike license. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, shout it to random people on the street, and be sure to visit thefump.com for the latest funny songs. Tune in next week where you'll hear Luke Ski say,
Hey, Rand, if you're going to nominate me to be in the Filk Hall of Fame, try to get me in before the year 2054, because I'll probably be dead after that.